NBA 2K20's MyTeam trailer just dropped recently, and it's quite horrifying to see just how many different types of gambling mechanics are in a game that's rated 3 and up by the PEGI review board. You've got your standard loot box card packs and mega bundles, a pegboard Plinko type machine, a Wheel of Fortune-esque spinning reward wheel, what appears to be 3 different types of currency, and finally, not even obfuscating it anymore, an actual slot machine. So essentially, it's a basketball game getting in the way of a casino, even down to the in-trailer reactions that are basically another form of the marketing department for the game that's cropping up all over YouTube everywhere with pack opening reaction videos. GTA Online's Diamond Casino and Resort that dropped last month put an actual casino inside of a video game, finally marrying the two, and it seems that Take-Two saw that precedent set to put actual gambling machines in the game, even though GTA is at least rated 17+, even though gambling is 21 and over here in the US, while NBA 2K20 is somehow rated E for everyone, and what's worse is that there are lots of comments on that GTA trailer that are lamenting the fact that they live in a country that has banned this actual casino add-on because it rightfully violates gambling laws. Unlike in the GTA Online trailer, though, people are less than pleased about this new NBA 2K20 trailer, with the like meter looking shorter than Danny DeVito. However, I'm actually really happy that 2K put all of their cards on the table, of course I had to use a gambling metaphor, and are showing people exactly what type of money-grabbing schemes will be in the game. Even though the trailer depicts you getting a good reward every time, which you sure as shit know that won't happen in real life when people actually play the game, at least they aren't doing what most gaming companies are doing nowadays and shying away from the monetization scheme that the game has, or blatant false advertising about what's going to be in the upcoming product. How egregious Philbin the microtransactions actually are remains to be seen, but unlike in other games, they aren't dodging questions about it like Neo from the Matrix. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, for all its hype after the gunfight alpha that was only available for a part of the community because apparently testing your game to make sure it works is now also for sale with exclusivity, but we have no idea how the monetization will work in that game since Infinity Ward isn't ready to pull the e-brake on the hype train just yet and claims that they will share more once they're ready and closer to launch. If it's anything like the previous game, which is the worst nickel and diming, more like Hamilton and Jacksoning with how much the bundles cost. But also remember that Black Ops 4 did not have a black market until 3 weeks after launch, which meant that we didn't even know how the monetization of the game worked until after sales had been collected for the game and reviews had been written about it. Activision, spelled with a $, similarly did this for Crash Team Racing, shoehorning microtransactions into a 20-year-old remaster for fuck's sake after the game launch, and circumvented the ASRB labeling system that assigns the in-game purchases tag to games that do have any sort of microtransactions in the game, whether they be the direct purchases or the gambling type. Considering that game systems are directly impacted by the implementation of the monetization scheme, you cannot make an informed decision on purchasing a product when the rules can change at any time with later patches adding shit in. Infinity Ward didn't talk about it with Game Informer in their rapid fire questions interview after Vaughn the previous year rightfully got called out for writing checks his ass couldn't cash regarding time and paywalling characters in Blackout before having to go back on that statement later when it did in fact happen, and Infinity Ward isn't ready to talk about it now because they're either afraid of the response it'll get from fans, or even worse, Activision and the development studio haven't landed on how the game's post-launch revenue stream will work, considering that they're abandoning the season pass for this offering. I say that the latter is worse because that means they're still designing things that directly affect how the game is going to play. There are tons of examples of games that are designed on purpose to be more grindy when monetization is available for players to skip being able to earn things in-game. The other piece of the trailer that I do like is that there is no false advertising, or at least they're not trying to pull wool over the eyes of anyone that's interested in purchasing the game, because we have no idea if it is actually false advertising until the game finally comes out. This is all too common in today's gaming industry, whether it be No Man's Sky overpromising and underdelivering, or Battlefield 5, which we just learned yesterday that the trailer for Chapter 4's Defying the Odds, showcasing different weapons, outfits, and other beepity bops, are not in fact going to be delivered during that time frame, as well as the roadmap that was revealed at EA Play being completely wrong from the very start, with promising things like new vehicles and gadgets that were never going to come for the chapter. I'm slightly more lenient on pushing back content because DICE is busy putting out its own fires with fixing bugs, but I can't give a pass to the roadmap itself being wrong from the very start, which annoys me already in the first place, that games these days need these planned promises to put in content for a game that's an excuse to ship an empty shell of a product. This is blatant false advertising, the same way we never got factions from Black Ops 4 Zombies or soldier dragging and vehicle customization from Battlefield 5, both of which were announced as features during the game reveals both over a year ago. I'm actually quite surprised that there haven't been more class action lawsuits a la Fallout 76, with the canvas bags being advertised advertised with collector's editions of the game, but they were actually cheap nylon pieces of shit when actually delivered. Although the game isn't out yet, the trailer that NBA 2K20 put out is certainly more like the experience of past titles, with how much My Team is just a psychologically manipulating casino preying on underage kids masquerading as a basketball game, versus the myriad of trailers for game updates for both Battlefield 5 having items that aren't even going to be delivered in the time period, and Black Ops 4 just showing off cosmetics and other things that are only locked behind a paywall that you need to pray to the RNGesus for a chance to get. I'd rather have more games portrayed in trailers like NBA 2K20 blatantly putting out into the world that they're circumventing the archaic rules about what constitutes gambling, versus games hiding their monetization scheme until after it launches, when reviews have been written and revenue has been acquired, as well as having rampant amount of false advertising for products that either cannot be delivered on time or are locked in a loot box, or worse yet, when game demos at conferences are just complete bullshit and not representative of the product whatsoever. NBA 2K20's trailer shouldn't be ridiculed and mocked for laying it all out there. It's what game trailers should be, to accurately portray what the game will entail. Well, except for the fanatization of gambling that's going on, because of course the footage only shows winning, and you sure as shit know that that's not going to happen when the game comes out. However, if this isn't a poster child for how wrong governments are around the world regarding not labeling loot boxes as gambling, then it's going to get a lot worse as gaming companies continue to take a mile when given an inch. This trailer is disgusting solely because it accurately lays out exactly what video game companies are allowed to do. Now it's not even an untold secret anymore. This is a game rated E for everyone that has blatant gambling mechanics in the motherfucking trailer. So yeah, it's outrageous, but it should serve as a wake-up call for regulatory bodies around the world that this shit is unacceptable. What's even worse is that some players in the aforementioned GTA Online casino trailer are claiming to use VPNs to get around governmental regulation to make companies an insane amount of money, and are angry that they can't spend that money because their country actually gives a shit about the consumers and not the giant mega corporations taking advantage of people that are prone to addiction and all the other psychological tactics that are employed in games nowadays. Are you fucking kidding me, people? Anyways, what do you think about the trailer? Are you disgusted at it, or are you like me and want more trailers to show off the seedy underbelly of how the game mechanics actually work, considering how many trailers nowadays are just fake demos like Anthem, or complete false advertising like in the case of Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5? Let me know in the comments section down below. I've been the Schwantz27, making like a hooker's legs and split. Until next time.